Do you guys see the shirt? It says Skydive CNY. Okay, so true story. A couple of years ago, I went skydiving. Before that, I had a healthy respect for heights. I've never been on a plane before, but me and a friend of mine, we went skydiving, and when we went skydiving, we had to take a couple tests, nothing major, just showing us what to do, how to do it. So when we get into the plane, there's five of us in it. There's the pilot, there's me, there's Kim, there's Tracy. I went with Tracy. It was a tandem skydiving, and I don't know the name of the person Kim went with. But as we're going up higher and higher, I say to myself, when they open up this door, if I get scared, I'm going to tell them, you know what? You can have the money, bring me back down. I'm not jumping. Remember, I have a healthy respect for heights, okay? I've never been in a plane before. So we're going higher and higher and higher up in this plane. And the higher we go up in a plane, and I look out the window, and to my shock, I wasn't nervous, I wasn't scared. And it was actually very, very peaceful. I actually enjoyed the scenery, and I looked at it, and you know how you see those topographical maps? That's how the land was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's really like this. So this is how funny God is. We're up here, right? And I'm sitting next to the pilot, and I'm ready to go. And Kelly, he's next to me, and we're talking. And behind me, there's this big, it's big, and it has this big red circle ball on it, almost like, and there's words on it. Do not touch this. And I'm thinking to myself, why would they have me next to this thing and they're saying not touch it? What if I accidentally touch it? What's going to happen? I don't know, but I didn't want to find out. So we're going higher and higher and higher up, right? We're ascending. We're ascending to the skies. It could have been like the Tower of Babel. That's how high I thought we were anyways. And I said to myself, okay, this got to be it. This has to be the jump off spot. We're too high now for it to be the jump off spot. And this is how come I said this God is funny. And there's no disrespect. It is what it is. Your relationship with God is your relationship with God. Okay. I see God as my friend. I see God as my provider. I see God as somebody I can joke with, and somebody has sense of humor. Okay. So let's get back to the story. So after I says this has to be the spot, almost as if on cue, the pilot says, we're halfway there. I'm like, halfway there? Okay. So boom, we get up there, and we're up there. We are up there. And Kelly says, okay, you ready? And there's these lanyards, things almost like you have your keys on. Yeah, those things. So there's 4 of them. And he attached me to him by lanyards. 4 lanyards. Okay, so here I am, a guy that's never been in a plane before, a guy that has a healthy, not a fear of heights, but a healthy respect for heights. Okay, some of you might say fear, but I say respect. He opens it up, and he latches me onto him with these 4 lanyards, and he says to me, listen, I want you to understand, we're safe, we're good to go. If 3 of these lanyards break, the one will keep you. I'm thinking, yo, Kelly, bruh, you safe. You got the parachute attached to your back. If these 4 lanyards go, I'm done. But it is what it is. So he opens up the door, right? And I look out, and it's the most peaceful, most serene place, most serene scene that I have ever seen in my life. And I'm ready to do this. So I get down, kind of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, right? And I'm ready. I'm ready to do this thing. And then I thought, all of the training that we went through, Kelly never told me what to do to get out the plane. People, Kelly never told me what to do to get out the plane because we're attached to each other. Once Kelly went, guess what happened? I went with him. So then he taps me, boom, boom, and I go like this. You can't see it all, but trust me, it's a move you got to do. And he's like, you did it perfect, you did it perfect. And then, so when you go tandem jumping, there's 2 parachutes, right? There's a smaller one that helps to slow down your descent, and then the bigger one. So after a while, after about a free fall of maybe 350 to 400 feet, he lets out the the smaller parachute. And I'm telling you, my eyes were watering. I could barely breathe. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then it slowed down. And then he let out the bigger parachute. And when he let out the bigger parachute, he had asked me if I had contacts, and I said no, and he had took off my goggles. And I just looked at the world. And we must have been up there for like 10 to 15 minutes. And he gave me the controls, and I started controlling the parachute as we're going down. And then I do it the other way. And he said, that's good, but check this out. Then he starts doing it, and we're like this. We're going around and around and around and around, and really fast, but it's very peaceful. And I'm like, I can't believe this whole time I was scared of heights. I'm sorry, not scared of heights. I had a healthy respect of heights. And at that moment, I realized that how could I be scared of something that I never actually was a part of, that I never actually experienced? And that's how it's been for a lot of my life. A lot of things I just tell myself, or I used to tell myself, I can't do this, and I wouldn't do it. And then years later, I would try it, and it would be one of the easiest things that I've ever done. And I tell myself, why did I hesitate? Why didn't I just try it? So this is why this whole story about the parachute and everything, why I said it, because if you never try something, how will you know if you can do it or not? How will you know if you can succeed or not? How will you know? We have to try. Listen, it doesn't matter who does or who doesn't believe in you. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. Believe that you can accomplish it. Believe that the goals that you have are attainable. You are your own best motivation. Look in the mirror and motivate yourself. Get on a schedule. Write down your schedule. Tell yourself, this is what I'm going to accomplish today. This is what I'm going to accomplish this week. This is what I'm going to accomplish, period. This is how I'm going to reach my goals. This is how I'm going to level up. You can level up. You can achieve your goals. You can be more than your environment. You could be more than what you grew up in. You could be more than what you saw as a child. Don't let what you saw, if it's negative, affect you in your mindset. I call it around the block syndrome. So what is around the block syndrome? Around the block syndrome is usually where I come from. It's a nice area, but honestly, people, for the most part, they just stay there. You know, you grow when you die. And it's usually, I call it a 2-block radius. You know, that's what you see. That's what you know. So you don't think growing up that there's more than this in the world. You know, and you that's what you expect. And it's not against anybody. How can you expect more if you haven't seen more, if you haven't witnessed more? One of the best things that ever happened to me in my life when I was younger is that there was a period of about 4 or 5 years, maybe 6, where I would go to Niagara Falls in the summertime, and I saw something that totally changed my mindset, that totally changed my reality, that totally changed what I thought was possible. So what was this that I saw? I'll be real with you. I saw black people, colored people, African American people, however you want to say it. I saw them doing their thing. I saw them driving Bentleys. I saw them driving Benzes. I saw them driving Lincolns. I saw them driving Caddies. I saw the houses that they lived in. I saw the neighborhoods that they lived in. And it was nothing what I was accustomed to. It was nothing that I saw. And in that moment, in that instant, I understood there's more out there than what I thought was out there. Do not let your own thoughts hinder you from being more, from accomplishing more. Because at that point in time, my own thought process was, this is all that there is, but there's so much more out there for you. You can do it. I am here to motivate you. I'm here to inspire you to your own individual greatness. You can achieve it. You can believe it. You can have faith in it. How can you have faith in it? Because the Bible says every man. And when it says man, it's talking about male, female. It's talking about children. Every man was born with a measure of faith. You have to have the faith to believe that you can achieve anything, even if somebody else tells you it's impossible. Don't forget, sometimes you have to separate to grow. Sometimes you have to separate to grow. It doesn't mean that you don't love people. It doesn't mean that you don't care about people. It doesn't mean that you don't want the best for people. But you want to have the best for you. You want to be able to give back to your neighborhood. You want to be able to give back to your people. You want to be able to help other people to help themselves. You are the person that God called you to be. When we look in the Word of God, it says that everybody has an expected ending. Listen, just because you have an expected ending does not mean you're going to reach your expected ending. But you can reach your expected ending, but you got to put the work in. You have to put the time in. You have to do the work to reach your expected ending. No more, no less. I love the story about David and Goliath in the Bible for a multitude of reasons. But one of the reasons I like it so much is because even if somebody doesn't really know the Bible, most people know the story about David and Goliath. They understand what happened. They understand that Goliath was ridiculing the people of God, that he was a champion of the Philistines from Gath. They understand that this man was a giant. He was a warrior. He was a champion warrior. So he knew how to fight. He knew how to war. But guess what? You know how to fight and you know how to war too. I know this because the Bible tells us that God teaches our hands and our fingers to war. Okay? And the Bible also says to put on the whole armor of God, to stand still and witness the salvation of the Lord. So why did I say that to you? Because there's times when you have to fight, and there's times when you just have to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Okay, so let's get back to David and Goliath. So we know that Saul the king had tried to give David armor and everything, and David was like, I can't wear this. I can't use this. Why am I saying that? Because everything that everybody gives you, you can't use everything everybody gives you. It's just impossible. Okay? You got to use what works for you. You got to use what's best for you. So David took what he knew. David took what he knew would work for him. He took a slingshot and he took 5 smooth stones. Why did he take 5 smooth stones? Because Goliath had 4 brothers. And once he got down with the get down, he understood that he may have to take out 4 more people. So you had to be ready to take out anything and everything. Just because you see one obstacle and you take it out doesn't mean that there's going to be more obstacles that's standing in your way. So you had to be ready and able to take out those obstacles too. You can do this. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. Have the confidence. So here comes David. Here comes Goliath. And David was ruddy. Little child, little kid, little boy. And Goliath was mad. And he said, word? Oh, I'm going to handle you. It's going to be a quick fight. I'm about to handle business. Then I'm going to go home and do what I do. He didn't know. He didn't know what was inside of David. And just like what's inside of you, people don't know what's inside of you. But you know what's inside of you. So bring that thing out. Use what's in you to propel yourself to the greatness that lies ahead. So he took his slingshot, he took his stone, he put that slingshot and he put that stone to use. Boom! And Goliath was defeated. Now, most people were in a sermon or talking about David and Goliath there, but believe you me, everything that happened prior to and up to that point really was just leading to the most important part of this story. Okay, so what's the most important part of this story? The most important part of this story, I'm sorry, I said story. It's not story, it's real. The most important part of this history, the most important part of this life lesson is what happened afterward. David had an audience with the king. And the people that were in the audience with this king, one of them was Jonathan, the next king in line, the heir apparent, the prince. And when David had finished talking, the Bible said, and it came to pass. So what came to pass? The soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David. And Jonathan had took off his robe. He had took off everything that he had. He had gave David his weapons. And even though this man was supposed to be the next king, he told David, you are going to be the next king and I will follow you. Now, when we look at the same chapter and we go down, we see those exact same words again. And it came to pass. So before David had fought Goliath, Saul was offering his oldest daughter to whoever defeated Goliath. And David had defeated Goliath. So Saul has told David that you're going to marry my daughter. Now, this is what happened. Even though the king had decreed this thing, it didn't come to pass. Now, why didn't it come to pass? It didn't come to pass because the king didn't make anything, didn't do anything to make it happen. David didn't want to marry her, and she ended up marrying somebody else altogether. So when we look at this thing, we see that in the exact same book in the Bible, the exact same words were used, and it came to pass. But one thing came to pass, and other thing didn't come to pass. Let your vision come to pass. See, David put work in to having his vision come to pass. David was in learning from the time he was a youth. David was a sheep herder. David took care of his father's sheep. And we know about the lion and the bear and how David had killed them. So David understood how to take on things that were much bigger than him in stature and in size. You know? And he let it come to pass because he wasn't going to let anybody disrespect something that he believed in so much. What did David believe in so much? He believed in his God. So whatever you believe in, don't let anybody push you down. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody hinder you. Be about your business. Like Jesus said when Mary went to look for him. Why did you do this thing? Don't you know we trouble looking after you? He simply looked at her and said, "Wouldn't you know I must be about my Father's business?" Basically, he was saying, you should be ashamed of yourself. The angel came to you. He said you were blessed and highly favored a woman. He said you were going to have a child of God. He said that God was going to come and he was going to be in you. I am that God. You know why I'm here. You know what I'm doing. Don't let your emotions hinder you or stopping you when you know what has to be done the way it did Mary. Okay? You can do this. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget what you are. Look in the mirror every day. Give yourself affirmations. I am worthy. I am mighty. I am powerful. I am just. I am true. I'm going to make this come to pass. Nobody, no one, nothing can or will stop me. I know what I have to do. I'm going to grind. If I gotta grind by myself, I will grind by myself. If they have to find new people to grind with me, I'm gonna find new people to grind with me. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. My business, Simply IBN, when God first gave it to me, he gave me 4 phases. I'm on the first phase, and guess what? It was, to me, a very daunting task. a very daunting task. So I went to one of my good friends and I told them about it. And they said, that's a good idea. And I said, I want to do this with you. And I said, think about it. I waited 3 weeks. I waited 5 weeks. I went back to him. And I told him about another plan that I had. And he said, that's a good plan right there. I would do that. And I told him about the other plan. He didn't say anything. And God spoke to me. He said, do it yourself. And I did it myself. There's going to be times you just got to do it yourself. And it may look daunting. And it may look hard. And you may say, can I actually do this thing? You can do it. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. See you next time. Live long, prosper, go out, and conquer.